people today. They could spend half their lives over 50. That's a lot of living. So it helps to have a wise friend and fierce defender in your corner. A friend like AARP. So your health lives longer.
This is just slow-mo karate?
Just slow-mo karate.
Your money lives longer.
I just bought that.
I just sold that.
And your happiness lives longer. That's why the younger you are, the more you need AARP. Join today.
Welcome to AARP Illinois' virtual event. It's so wonderful to have you with us. AARP is on a mission to connect with individuals across various communities, especially those aged 50 and above. We're here to listen, understand, and address the unique needs of you and your community as we age. Our goal is to enrich your experience by expanding our local activities, providing opportunities for you to discover and engage with all that life has to offer right here in your own community and virtually. As we journey through today's event, we invite you to consider joining our dedicated team of AARP volunteers. It's a chance to make a meaningful impact and help us better serve those 50 plus across the nation. Connect with us and be a part of this vibrant movement toward positive change. Welcome, and let's make this event both fun and transformative.
Welcome to this month's AARP Illinois special virtual event. I'm your girl, Teresa Jones, Associate State Director, and I'm here with your other girl, Courtney Hedderman, our Senior Associate Director of Advocacy and Outreach. Together, we're your Fraud-Fighting Fraudlettes. We're thrilled to be bringing you the latest on frauds and scams and ultimately arming you with all the information that you may need for prevention and reporting if you're ever a victim. We're excited to bring this month's topic, all about voting in the upcoming election. But before we get started with our discussion, I'd like to remind our Facebook and YouTube viewers that you can ask questions and share your comments in the social media feeds. We'll do our best to address as many of your questions as possible during our conversation. We're honored to welcome our two guests today. First, we have Erin Haas-Gotts, who is the Lockport Township Clerk. She's an election judge and a local election official. Well, thank you, Erin, for being here, and let's get started.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thank you so much. So we do want to give a disclosure before we begin. AARP is a nonpartisan, nonprofit organization. We don't have a political action committee, which means we do not endorse candidates and we do not give candidates any money. We take elections and voting very seriously. Our discussion today is not to talk about candidates' policies or their specific campaigns. We're talking about the voting process and what information you need to know. Voting is a fundamental right and a crucial part of our democratic process. It allows citizens to have a say in who represents them and how government operates. As the upcoming election approaches, we think it's really important to be informed and prepared so you know what to do as you cast your vote. Okay, so after I've said all that, I really do think let's get it started. I'll start, Erin. Thank you again for being here. We really appreciate you. You have a tremendous amount of experience as it relates to voting. So maybe just give a quick introduction of yourself. Like, what does it mean to be an election judge and, of course, an officer?
Thank you. You know, it's a very big responsibility that we take very seriously. We go through a lot of training on the county level, and we learn how to handle situations. We run early voting here at the township, one of the locations for Will County. And 2 weeks prior to any election, we have early voting that goes on certain times of day. I get to pick the times. I get to pick the days. It fits within the county schedule. And anyone in Will County is welcome. I'm servicing Will County as part of what I'm doing.
Right. And so like obviously you're representing Will County, but obviously all the other counties in Illinois too, their clerks and their election officer, they're doing the same thing, correct?
It will depend on where you are. There are 28
Mm-hmm.
locations, I can tell you, in Will County. Throughout the state, early voting does go on, and different sites take different people. So not every single early voting site will take everyone like we will. So throughout the state, you may see some variation.
Okay, we'll definitely dive into all of that. So everybody feels good, because we do have people from not only Illinois joining us, but across the country actually as well. So we'll certainly dive in. Okay, so let's maybe just go back, like, when is election day?
Okay, election day for general election this year is Tuesday, November 5th.
Tuesday, November 5th. Tuesday, November 5th. Let's just ingrain that in our brains. Okay, got it. Tuesday, November 5th. Okay, go ahead, Teresa.
So that'd be the first Tuesday in November, right?
Correct.
So now who's eligible to vote?
Okay, well, to be eligible to vote, I can speak, on general terms here. You must be a U.S. citizen, okay? And you must be 18 years old to vote. Now, when we had the primary, we did have some 17-year-olds that were able to vote because they were going to be turning 18, by election day or on election day. You must be a resident of the precinct at least 30 days prior to the election day where you were living too. So those are the requirements. You must be 18 and you must be a U.S. citizen.
So I have another question. So if you've been incarcerated, are you still able to vote?
They do have voting that does go on at jails.
Okay, perfect.
Requirements, though. There's requirements. Must be a U.S. citizen.
Right.
Same requirements, essentially.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Gotcha. And then how if someone has never voted before, or they have changed their address, perhaps you can talk a little bit about registering to vote, because some folks, again, maybe have moved. They, maybe were living in X place, now they're living somewhere else, or again, they're a brand new voter, no matter what their age is or whatever.
Right.
How does someone register to vote, and is it too late to register?
It is not too late. Okay. In the state of Illinois, currently, October 8th is the last day to register in person, okay, where you would just walk into my office or walk into another place that registers you to vote. That is the last day to do that, just registering, okay? But there's something called grace period registration, grace period voting. When you have never registered to vote and you want to vote in an election and you come to early voting, it's called grace period registration. You come in and you register and you vote at the same time. You have to do both. So that's what goes on with that. So that is only if you're going to do, early voting registration. Same day registration is when you vote on actual election day. So on November 5th, if you want to come in and vote and you've never registered, hey, that's fine. Bring what you need to bring and you can register, and you have to vote at the same time. The difference in that is you have to go to your precinct for that one. That's same day registration. During grace period, I see anyone in Will County here. We have lots of people that come in that register to vote. I'm happy to announce, though, that I've had a lot of people coming in to register to vote ahead of time with me at the clerk's office. And I just registered someone about a month ago, 81 years old, first time voting.
Oh, wow.
Very excited.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So you
That's
can also
incredible.
vote. You can register to vote online. You can register to vote in person. And so the ways to recap, the ways to register in person is either now up until October 8th or during grace period or day of.
Okay, so now let's say I go to the polling place. Do I need to bring identification? And if so, what do I need to bring?
Okay, if you're going to the polling place, are you a registered voter already? Is that the question?
Let's say I'm a registered voter already.
Okay. If you're going to your polling place day of, you don't have to bring anything because you're a registered voter in the state of Illinois. There are some states in the United States that do not require you to show ID to vote if you're already registered. So you just walk in. I would bring your ID with you, because if your signature doesn't match, we can ask for your ID to match your signature.
Yep.
If you are going to early voting, my location, you come in, same thing. You do not need to bring anything with you. If you do have ID and you do want to hand it to us, you can. We are not allowed to ask for it, but the newer equipment, a lot of people come in, they hand it to you, we scan it, we bring them up, but it is not a requirement.
All right. All right.
Good to know. Good to know. This is great information.
Mhm.
So you've actually made reference to voting early, and that I think that does seem to be more popular than ever. So can you talk a little bit? Can someone vote early?
Yes.
Do they have to go to a location, or do they do it by mail? Can you talk a little bit about voting early? What all
Okay,
that
so
entails?
early voting is different from voting by mail. Early voting is what my staff and I run. You come in at a designated time during my hours that I set. We get 2 weeks prior to an election. Okay, so I have my staff work Monday through Friday. We do not work on Sundays. Some people do, but we do not. Monday through Saturday the first week, Monday through Saturday the second week. I start on October 21st, and I have hours. You come in and you vote. Early voting is very specific, though. I will explain why. I have everyone from all over the county, so everyone's ballots are different. So when you come in, we're going to identify you by asking some questions, because you're not on a list or anything. This is not your polling place necessarily. I can have someone from, way out in Crete, and I can have someone from an area in Plainfield. So we see a variety of people. You come in, you give your name, for birth date, we confirm address. We look at all the details. It comes up on our screen so we can see everything. Then you have to sign that you are applying to be an absentee voter for election day, that you're not going to be present on election day. So, it is a form of absentee voting. Then we produce your ballot and we give you a receipt. You vote, and then your ballot you place into the ballot counter, and that's it. You're done voting. Now, I will tell you, if you requested a vote by mail and you decide, hey, I want to go vote in person, bring your vote by mail with you, because that way you can surrender it. I have to be very specific as a local election official that I take your mail-in ballot. It has to be spoiled. It is surrendered. It's sealed in an envelope, and we have counts, because everything comes up in the computer. It will show me if you requested a vote by mail. It will show me if you returned that vote by mail. So
Interesting.
Wow.
Yeah, it's extremely specific. There's a lot of security involved with it.
Sounds
Okay.
like it.
Yeah, I didn't know all of that. That's very interesting.
People do not know a lot about it. So I'm really happy to educate them on it.
So, and it doesn't matter, right? Like, it's the same, like it might be different hours, right? But it, no matter where somebody lives, again, whether they're in Illinois or another state, the process is still the same, even if the hours are different. Like, so how would someone find out their polling place or the hours, or like anything that's related to early voting? Where do they find that information out?
You're either going to call your local county clerk or go online to your county clerk's website. The county clerk's website is designed to have all of that information available to everyone.
Perfect.
All right. Thank you. So now, what happens if I encounter problems at the polling place?
Well, sometimes you get to your polling place and you're not sure if you're supposed to be there. You may not have the right address on your license, and you're worried, things can happen, right? So go talk to someone. There's a local election official that should be there. Talk to them and explain what's going on and get the information you need. and then proceed the way, we will tell you, we have a lot of different situations we have to handle, a lot. And then if we have to call the county, we will call the county if we need to inquire about something. There's rules, there's security, there's all kinds of regulations in place. So just be patient, take a breath, and go talk to the person in charge.
All right. Can I bring someone with me to help me vote?
Yes, actually you can. So to back up a moment, for early voting, I have employees that I hire. So they're township employees. They work every single election with me. They work 12 days out of the 14 of those 2 weeks and are very experienced. They have to go to training, everything. And they all know that sometimes people come in and they need help. So when you go to one of my stations and we're helping you get your ballot and you have to tell that person, I need help, then my employee is required to enter that helper's information and have them sign that they are going to help. So it's extremely regulated. And
oh, wow. I had no idea that happened. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's a newer process that's going on. We enter it straight onto the iPads. Information is taken down. At my location, we have a large community center that we are able to use. So I have privacy areas. I have tables set up. That way you can sit down with your friend, your partner, your spouse, whoever you may have with you that you need the help, and they can help you. Once you get over to the ballot counter, though, if you're able to put your ballot in, we always want you to put your ballot in by yourself. Okay. We don't want anyone else to do that. I have employees that are watching the ballot counter. Okay. So why are they there? They are there to ensure that you put your ballot in the right spot and to make sure that if that ballot comes back out at you, it'll say something at the screen like, you have overvoted or you have undervoted. And it's going to ask you, do you want to cast your ballot like this? So it is the job of that employee to assist you in that moment. But we do not touch your ballots. That's up to you. Okay. And we do not insert the ballots for you. That's up to you. So you should be inserting your own ballot. If you need help, that's okay. But you have to give the permission of that person. Okay.
Okay. All right.
That makes sense. This is fascinating.
Yeah.
Because how long is the training? When you made reference, like everybody's trained, like what? Can you talk a little bit about that?
Okay. So they are required, and myself, we have had 6 hours of training where we went to the county. First time around for training with the older equipment. Then we went for the newer equipment. Then we had practice time that went on. Anytime we have to ask questions. Plus, as we're going, you get experience on situations when you're in the throes of it all, which is one of those moments of like, oh, yes, I remember this. Okay. And now the way that the system is, our old computers are gone. The old paperwork is gone. It is so nice. It's so convenient, very streamlined, very easy to, help with something that is out of the ordinary. So they go through the training, and then I'm watching them too to make sure. So this is a very serious thing. Voting is important and it's very serious. So we make sure that we are going to do what needs to be done. And we have to balance every day with early voting. So our numbers, we have to input how many people came in, the ballots. It has to match the ballot counter. Everything has to match or we're in trouble. So we are not going to get in trouble. We make sure that we are matching all of our numbers. So it's all computer now and all entered data entry, and the county's watching us at all times with it. So we had a funny instance. I have to tell you, in the old system, we kept on putting someone's last name in. And part of their last name had the sequencing of letters of NAME. Okay. So that was a kicker in the old system. So I get a phone call because I have a phone on me at all times. And it's the county. They're like, okay, We know you've gone to all 3 computers. It's not your fault. The personnel will be there within 10 minutes to help you. That has been fixed because the computer system was shutting down every time.
Oh my goodness. Yeah.
Like entering null or entering name would shut everything down.
Oh my gosh.
New one.
Wow.
But they're very good. They're watching and they're keeping track of what you're doing. They're immediately accessible if I need to talk to them. So it's run very well.
Well, it sure sounds like it. And I'm telling you, so you've kind of alluded to it, but the measures that are in place to ensure the security of our votes, can you kind of talk just a little bit more about that?
I can. So I had questions myself. I want to know, right? So here's what happens. When you are putting your ballot in that ballot counter, there's something called a jump drive that's at the top that immediately tallies. So that's how the machine knows, hey, you overvoted, or hey, you've undervoted, which I want to talk about that for 1 minute.
Yeah.
You can come to any election and undervote. You get your ballot. If you don't know who's running for judge, or you don't know who's running for clerk, you don't know who's running for supervisor, you don't have to vote for that section. Say you just wanted to come to vote on one part of a referendum or for president, you can just vote for that. However, try not to overvote, because if you overvote, it's going to kick it out, and it will ask you if you want to cast your ballot with errors. So that machine knows immediately, and it goes right to a database there. So it's very secure. So there's not anything to worry about on these levels with putting the ballots in. It's counting it right there, and it's going to tell you if you undervoted or overvoted. Everything also is kept under lock and key. There's double combinations. I have everything in a cage. It's a very large cage. It's called the cage. And we bring all of our equipment back into my secure office, which is a locked door within my office, which is locked, which is in a locked cage. No one's messing with anything. Plus, you have to have passwords to get into everything. So it's very particular, and it is secure.
Incredible.
Wow. Jeez.
Yeah, it's a lot.
It seems like it.
I'm like, oh my gosh, I have to remember this password. So, but it's
and the keys.
I have everything. Yeah, and keeping everything locked within the room that's locked. And then our entire building is under alarm too. So we are extremely, extremely secure. Plus, we have cameras, not to watch you vote. Okay, they don't see that. We have cameras of everybody coming in and out and the parking lot. I can see if anyone were to go into my office. I would know if anyone messed with anything that we had, because we have combinations of locks.
So I want to ask, speaking of all the security and what you know, and so is this extra precautions that you take in Will County, or are these the same type of procedures that happened all over?
I can definitely speak for Will County. I can speak for Will County. As far as other counties and townships, I'm not sure what they do, but it probably is very similar. Mm-hmm. So I don't want to misspeak on that, but I can tell you Will County, and we're a big county. You know, we're 3/4 of the people.
Yeah.
So I can't imagine that it's much different, though, because it's a database. You know, so all the townships run everything the same within the county. We all get cages delivered to us. We all have equipment set up, equipment breakdown, things that happen. It's very specific. And I have to sign for everything, being the local election official.
Mm-hmm. And I would assume the training's the same, right? So like they're taking the same training. It's
yes.
Yeah. That makes sense.
In this state.
Yep. Makes sense. Maybe you can talk a little bit about, how obviously we're not here to talk about candidates and very specific things. Obviously there are campaigns that are sitting outside of the polling place and they're giving literature. And I think sometimes people might be not fearful, but like, wait a minute, is this okay to take that literature and bring it in the polling place? Right. Can you talk a little bit about that kind of process and what a campaigns do on election day and things like that. Yeah.
Right. So there's rules for us. They have to stay 100 feet away from the entrance. They will be out there. They will be numerous. Be careful in the parking lots, especially when you pull into our parking lot. We're a building that still has other things going on. We have Meals on Wheels going on. We have our food pantry going on. So there's things happening. So it's being mindful of who is where, because there will be people all over. They even approach me as I'm walking in, and I'm like, you can just politely say, no, thank you, or you can take it if you want. It's up to you. It is a form of education that they have the right to hand out last minute if they choose to. They have no right to ask you questions. Okay. Just like poll watchers that come in. So I don't know if you're familiar with poll watchers, but as an area where we do have voting going on, poll watchers can be present. Because I do not have county employees, I have township employees. They're not allowed to ask my employees if they are Democrat or Republican. They're not allowed to ask that. They're not allowed to do certain things. So there's rules for my employees. There's rules for the parking lot. Basically, you can just politely decline, or if you'd like to engage in conversation, you just have to keep it out of the building and 100 feet away. Plus, do not wear your favorite candidate's hat or shirt or pin. Okay. So, I will tell you, you have to turn your shirt inside out like we're in high school. And if it's an inappropriate shirt, because we don't have a gym shirt you can put on. So, but you have to keep in mind, and I do have signs up, it is not a campaign area. It's a campaign-free zone. And you cannot use your phone cameras. And you cannot be speaking loudly or speaking at all about candidates or referring to the ballot counter as equipment that may not be the best. Don't. It's not good. It's not good, and it'll get a talking to. You'll get a talking to.
And well, so can people bring in, like, say somebody was handed literature outside the polling place, and it has, I don't know, slates, judges, whatever. Like, can you bring that in and utilize that?
But put it in your pocket. It can't be seen. Yes.
Can't be seen. Okay.
You have to hide it for sure.
Gotcha.
Yeah. And it will happen. It will happen.
Yep. I'm sure it will.
Yes. So I'm lucky enough at my location. The local high school has a program. They're trying to attain some job life skills, and they're going to be working a little volunteer table, and they're going to have walkie-talkies to alert us if anyone's coming in from the get-go with anything. So that's fortunate, because once you get in that building and you start crossing the line, it becomes a different game. We take it very seriously. We have to.
Yeah. No, I appreciate that. That's great. Yeah. This is great.
Sure.
Teresa, do you want to ask one of the last questions?
Well, I think we do have the last question. So now I voted. So what do I do afterwards?
You can go to my table, get an I voted sticker and a piece of candy.
Well, okay.
So, once you've voted, you're done. You did your duty. Now you can speak your mind outside of the building. It's a great thing to have the privilege to vote in our country.
Yeah.
So exercise your right to vote. Be there. Get your kids registered to vote if they're not. Get registered to vote yourself if you're not. And once you've voted, you're done. That's great. That's perfect. You're in there. So.
All right.
That's amazing. Yeah. I mean, I have 3 children, and they're not, they're not age appropriate yet to vote, but I bring them with me to vote because I want them to get ready and prepared. So when it's their time, they're casting their ballot. I can't wait for that day.
Absolutely. And I had the pleasure of registering my own son and watching him vote for the first time. That was a great thing. It's very important. It's very important.
Yes, it is. And I remember my husband and I, when my daughter, we used to take her with us as well. And then when she became of age and she went to vote, It was a big deal. I mean, we both took her and then we went out to eat afterwards. And
Yes.
yeah. And so she's voted she's just 25 now. So, but so she's, I think, had one election, maybe two, but it's a big thing for us,
Right. One last thing I wanted to tell you too, speaking on this, if someone is, new to a town and they just moved, and you want to register to vote, keep in mind if you went and got a new license, a new driver's license, oftentimes they register you to vote as well at that moment. So when you register, you status online with your county.
Okay.
You can look, check my voter status. And if you have not gotten your address changed on your license, go do it. Go do it. Otherwise you're looking at having to bring in a utility bill and either your birth certificate or your social security card to register to vote.
Right. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Erin.
Thank you.
Yeah, appreciate you. I can't believe we're actually ending our time together. That went by very fast. But I think it was really important to learn about the voting process in general, and we've talked about this, but your vote is your voice, and it's important to make it heard. So if you have any further questions or need assistance, don't hesitate to reach out to your local election office and officer or trusted voter information resources. Let's make this election a success by being informed and prepared. A special thank you to the clerk, Erin Haas-Gatz, for joining us and for her expertise today. It was really appreciated. I learned something new, and it's, incredible process. Once again, thank you all for joining us today. We look forward to continuing our mission of supporting older adults, caregivers, and the entire aging community in Illinois, as well as across the country. For more information regarding fraud, you can call 1-877-908-3360 or by visiting our website, aarp.org/Fraud Watch Network. That's aarp.org/Fraud Watch Network. If you're looking for information on elections and voting, please visit aarp.org/vote. And again, or connect with your local election office. If you're looking, again, for additional information, please seek it out. And of course, Teresa and I are very excited because we are doing this every month as it relates to our Fraud-Fighting Fraudlettes. Please join us next month for another engaging conversation regarding frauds, very specific fraud. We're talking all about romance scams and the things that happen online as we're looking for connections. So join us next month. We'll be excited to welcome you. We hope everyone has a wonderful day. It certainly has started off wonderful for us. Thank you again for being here. And this concludes today's virtual event. And Teresa?
Happy
voting!